We now stick with our top story that's been a big one over the past 48 hours. Business leaders are still reacting to the U.S. congressional report that was released on Monday, telling American companies to stop doing business with two of China's largest telecommunications companies. Jessica Stone is looking at the impact on trade relations between these two countries. Jessica, a very serious situation. We've had this discussion before, but you continue to look deeper into this situation to see what the impact's going to be.
Yeah, it's really important, and we're really putting a lot of resources behind it, Phil. But I can tell you this, no one I spoke to today believes that this report will have a substantial impact on the U.S.-China trade relationship. Nonetheless, it is a significant irritant in a very important relationship, potentially affecting thousands of jobs related to telecommunications on both sides of the Pacific.
Within 24 hours of this U.S. congressional report's publication accusing Huawei and ZTE of economic espionage, the Chinese Commerce Ministry fired back. The U.S. report is based on, quote, subjective guesswork and untrue evidence, said Shen Denyang, Commerce Ministry spokesperson. He went on to say the move would undermine investment and cooperation between the two nations' companies. Ted Moran has served on Huawei's International Advisory Council for 3 years.
I think more openness, more transparency is in their interest, and that's what I and other international advisors tell them.
Moran says because the telecommunications supply chain is so global, banning business between Chinese and American companies would not eliminate all security risks.
This report didn't seem to recognize the fact that this might provoke tit-for-tat responses on the part of other countries, and our companies don't want to be discriminated against just the way Huawei doesn't want to be discriminated against.
At least 6 U.S. companies located in 5 states sell components to Huawei. The company also has 7 research and development centers in the U.S., employing around 1,700 people. Meantime, at least 3 American companies, Extreme Networks, Juniper, and Cisco, have contracts in 3 Chinese provinces to work on critical infrastructure projects. Still, U.S. trade analyst Ed Gerwin says national security concerns are a long-standing part of the U.S.-China trade relationship.
China does have a series of restrictions on investment that many U.S. companies complain about, and many of those are justified by the Chinese on the basis of national security concerns.
When business gets this close to national security, he says, the real solution lies at the government level.
And the only way we're going to solve these trade problems is to establish better rapport from a national security standpoint so that the two governments have better trust in each other.
And Gerwin points out that national security restrictions are not subject to international trade regulation, for example, under the WTO. That leaves the burden of proof on the companies that want to make the investment, in this case, Huawei and ZTE. That may be one of the reasons that the committee was so keen on getting all of the answers to their questions. It really is the burden of proof on these companies that want to invest, and that includes U.S. companies when they want to go overseas.
I was listening to the press conference following the investigation from the committee, and they cited that they worked with other countries, Australia, the United Kingdom. What have they expressed, these other countries? Have they come on board and said, hey, we agree with this report? Or have they come on board and say they don't agree, or have they said nothing thus far?
Well, in terms of the report, I think we're still hearing the fallout, but there are certainly companies, or countries rather, that have expressed concerns. 2008, Australia turned down a bid due to security concerns, and in May 2010, India forbid purchase of Chinese network infrastructure products, in this case for very similar reasons.
Your work is cut out for you. I know you've been working hard on this. Thank you very much. Great job, Jessica Stone.